Hello everybody, my name is Francesco Bommartini, this is ACCESSO RISERVATO, and today I have the pleasure to have with me Kaspar Bjorn Boye Larsen, the bass player of VOLBEAT. Hello Kaspar, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thanks. It's a great day. It's the release of our album today, so I'm happy.
Yeah. In fact, you must know that VOLBEAT has a new album, a new release. The name of the new album is Servant of the Mind. And I want to understand, first of all, Kaspar, what are for you the main differences between the new Servant of the Mind and the previous records of the band?
I think the way that we wrote the songs and we recorded the songs is a major difference to, I mean, it definitely to the last few albums. It was actually more done like I know the band was doing in the early days, because when Rewind, the previous album, came out in 2019 in August, we only did play 4 months with that album. Okay. Before we were having a break, and we were supposed to go out to support that album in last year, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Something came up. Exactly. That came up, and we would, I mean, it was me, John, and Michael who was rehearsing, and we thought about what to do. And then, I mean, we were doing nothing because we were not going out and everything was locked down. And I mean, we couldn't even have Rob here because he was not allowed to. He was in New York and not allowed to come in to Europe. So I don't know what happened to Michael, but suddenly he was on fire, just, you know, writing songs all the time, getting in, and we didn't know what to do with them. We thought about maybe doing an EP or something. But within 2 or 3 months, we had more than enough material for a whole album. So,
all right,
we thought, yeah, let's just do another one. I mean, it's kind of, we wanted to tour more with Rewind, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to make certain changes. And so we did it very, very fast. I mean, the writing, and then in the summer, we had a little break, but then we went to the studio just 3 days to try to record it, do some pre-recordings to find out if it was working. And the company and our agencies, they loved it. So we didn't do anything to the songs, just booked some time for 3 weeks, I think, to record it properly.
Yeah.
I mean, that for us is very fast. It's a very fast process. But that's a year ago now. I mean, we were in the studio in last year in November, or was it October? And now the album is out. I mean, we've been waiting for more than a year to have it out, to have people to hear it. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the process was weird because I don't think anyone has experienced that kind of lockdown before. But personally, I was very privileged because I could just go home, stay at home, and still have my job, you know, just playing music.
Yeah, and it's different kind of life for you. I mean,
it's totally different from. I mean, I started in the band in 2016.
Yeah.
And before that, I was having a regular job at a nursery home for old people.
All right.
And I was playing music besides that, but the bands that I was playing in could maybe draw 100, 200 people at a venue. So that was
really different.
Very, very different. So when I started in VOLBEAT, there was no time to have a regular job because we were touring all the time. So yeah, that's very different. But I mean, even though we weren't touring, I could stay at home, and we could focus on the music and being home with your family. that was, yeah, I mean, everything considered, it was actually good for the band with a break. They've been talking many years about, okay, maybe at some point we're gonna have a break for a whole year, but every time when it's time to plan the next year, there's no break. I mean, it's just full on, because we like it. We like being on the road.
Always working on the band, always on tour. So I mean, your life from 2016 really changed a lot.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it changed on very on. I mean, in 16, our first child was born too. It was actually he was born the day before I was going out on my first tour with the band.
Yeah.
So I mean, joining VOLBEAT and having my first son was was kind of life changing.
Yeah.
I mean,
two is better than one.
I got two now. We got two. Yeah.
No, but two things like that, you know, two changes.
Oh yeah.
Like
okay.
that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna have changes, then just let it all come. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like living a dream, you know, because you said that you played in other bands before, and I mean, in this in that kind of situation, also I play in some bands, and when you are an underground in an underground situation, you always dream a better situation, and now you are living from 5 years about.
Yeah, I am actually living the dream I had when I was in my 20s. But to be honest, I almost skipped that dream and just accepted that, you know, when you're playing death metal or you're playing hardcore, I mean, you really have to struggle to make a living. And I mean, I had accepted that my life was not to be you know, living from touring or anything. I kind of accepted that until suddenly Michael called me, and I know Michael from back in the 90s when we were playing death metal.
Yeah.
In the same town. So, and he called me, and I was just, what the, that was crazy. Yeah, it just came when you least expect it. It came when I had accepted that I was not gonna make it big.
All right. It was a surprise.
It was a big surprise.
Yeah.
But I have never regretted saying yes.
Okay.
Because that's, I mean, it's what I wanted since I was a kid.
So
you could understand. Yeah, and you can imagine how actually I was also frustrated that in almost 2 years I couldn't go out and play. Yes. The first year we did the album, and it was great being back with the family all the time. It's been great all the time, but I was getting more and more hungry to get out and play, because I've never been that long without a concert.
Yes.
Not just playing your own show, but also going out, you know, listen to other bands, talking to people, have a beer.
Yeah.
There was nothing of that sort for 2 years almost.
The real way of living music, live concerts, in the situation, also family situation in the band, you know, when you have the friends, you can share with them all your passion about.
Exactly. I mean, you talk with your kids and your wife about certain stuff, but it is different to be with your friends. I mean, I can talk with my wife about everything, but it's not totally the same as being with other friends that you know are musicians. Well, all my friends play music in some way, so I really missed that. I was very fortunate. It was lucky for me that Michael and John, they lived kind of close to me, so we could rehearse, and we were rehearsing twice a week. So that was really a outlet for my creativity. Otherwise, I would have been crazy.
All right. Kaspar, I want to remain on the metal you spoke about, because there is a song especially that is becoming, that is really a trashy song, you know. And in the past, you have some collaboration as VOLBEAT with, for example, Gary Holt from Exodus, or King Diamond, and something else. And I know that also Becoming is dedicated to the memory of the entombed frontman that is dead,
LG,
from a while. Yeah, exactly. LG Petrov. And I want to understand how VOLBEAT feels themselves metal, because in the scene you are well known for a mix of rock and metal, you know.
But the thing is, when I started playing music, I came from a hardcore punk kind of background, but in that little town where I was living, there was only a handful of other people listening to kind of aggressive, extreme music. So that kind of opened my eyes up to death metal. So that's where I started. I started out playing in a death metal band. And that's actually where I met Michael. He was also in a death metal band called Dominus. So, and John was actually in a death metal band too. I mean, Rob is more of a thrashy guy from Anthrax, but I mean, me, John, and Michael are from the same part of Denmark, and we were playing. I mean, that was the thing. We are very rooted in death metal and thrash metal.
Oh, okay.
And personally, I've been touring with LG for a month with my other band, with my old bands, actually supporting VOLBEAT back in 2011. So I know him very well, and Michael knows him. I mean, he's been on stage with us for many times, and all of us love Entombed. I mean, it was actually, I think, the first death metal record that I bought. It was Left On Path by Entombed. So I mean, it means a lot to us. So it was very sad what happened to him.
Yeah,
it was.
It is for sure. I've seen also Entombed here in Verona, in the north of Italy, where I live, and I'm calling you from there. I want to ask about Caggiano, where he lives.
He lives in New York.
All right, so he came in VOLBEAT only before the tour to make rehearsals, etc.
Yeah, and usually he comes to. It depends on where the tour is. If the tour is in the US, we go to him, and then we rehearse for a couple of days. It didn't happen like that on the last tour. We just came home a few weeks ago from a tour in the US, our first tour in 2 years.
Yeah.
And then Michael couldn't get in, so there was no rehearsing. But that was the first time we played with him, the first show in 2 years. But when we're recording and we are, writing songs, usually he goes up to join us, and he lives in Copenhagen for some month. But this time it was not possible because he was not allowed to get into Europe, because the situation in New York was pretty bad last year at that time.
I know.
But it's actually not a problem, because he is very skilled and he is very good at, you can just play a riff for him one time and then he knows it. I mean, it's not like me, for instance. I have to I have to learn it very slowly, but he's very skilled, so it's not a problem that he lives in New York. It would be great that if he was living here in Copenhagen, because I really love to hang out with him. But
yeah, okay, I understand. Kaspar, we have the last question.
Okay.
And I think it could be really interesting for the people that are seeing us now, because I want to ask you your top 3 of your favorite albums ever, if you know. Yeah. I know that is a difficult one because the album changes in every moment of our life.
Yeah, it does.
Especially for the musicians that have listened many albums, many songs. Yeah. But if you can, it will be really great.
Yeah, then I would pick 3 albums that kind of changed my life, I think. Actually, the first album that I ever listened to that got me into music is by the Cure, you know. It was a record called Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
All right.
It's not the best The Cure record ever, but it's the one that got me into play music and become a musician.
Okay. Do you prefer Disintegration, for example?
Yeah, I do. Just like everybody else, I guess.
Okay, I understand.
And then there's a band called Tragedy. It's melodic neo-crust, I think it's called. They did an album called Vengeance, and it kind of, again, totally changed my perspective for music.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. It was that I always been into hardcore, you know, D-beat, and then I heard those songs, but there was this melody to it. There was this depth to the whole songwriting.
Okay.
And I saw them many years ago in a squatted house in Copenhagen. And it's one of the best shows I ever seen. I mean, it was so powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I love that record. I love that band.
I needed to discover.
Yeah. Tragedy. You won't find them on Instagram or Facebook because they're punk to the core.
All right. It likes me. It's good. Yeah. Or in this time, you know, where everybody is everywhere.
They are not. Suddenly you see okay, they have a show or there's a record coming out. You had no idea. But that album is one of my favorite. And then you could pick any album by Killing Joke.
Okay.
I mean, the first 2-3 albums, amazing. Then they're then you have to, I mean, they're a little different in the 80s, late 80s. But I mean, the last album they did, Pylon, is fucking amazing. I really, really love that band.
All right.
They're always an inspiration.
Thank you, Kaspar. Also, VOLBEAT are inspiration for many people. And so I was really happy to have you here on Accesso Riservato. Thank you, everybody, from Francesco Bommartini. Hello,
thank you.
Kaspar.
Ciao.
Have a nice day and hope the best for the new release.
Thank you.